Well, good morning. It's time to bring you the latest data here in the Austin metro area. Pop quiz. Do you know which city in our area was the fastest growing, not only for the Austin metro, but one of the top 10 in America last year? The answer, of course, is right here on your screen. It is Kyle. For those not in our area, Kyle is to the south of Austin along I-35. You leave Austin, you go through Buda, which is in Hayes County, and then you get to Kyle. Then you go to San Marcos, New Braunfels, San Antonio. So if you were driving south on I-35, that's how it would go. Kyle, just ranked by Open Door, one of the top 10 hottest housing markets last year. That is based on sales, not price. In terms of price, the median home value, or sorry, the average home value in Kyle for our metro is very affordable. It's $319,000. I know you can still get several new builds under $300,000 in Kyle right now. The price year over year dipped about 6%, 6.1%. So what's happening is lots of sales at a slightly lower price, driving a lot of those first-time home buyers and affordable home buyers down into the Kyle area. Here is the top 10 on that Open Door list. Number one was Katy, which is part of the Houston area. Number two is Cypress, part of the Houston area. Number three, San Antonio city limits. Number four, New Braunfels. And number 10, Kyle. So, and Forney is in there too, which is, I think, outside of Fort Worth. So you got 6 out of the top 10 are in Texas, and 4 are between Austin and San Antonio, if you include San Antonio. So you've still got tons of growth coming this way. So let's talk about Kyle, which is in Hayes County. So what's been driving that? These are trends from November, and I think I shared these a few videos ago. But if we look at number of home sales in Hayes County, okay, so this is 2020 green, 2021 maroon, 2022 purple, and then you got the slow years of 2023 and 4, which is blue and orange. Look at the orange; they had more sales than they even had in the pandemic to start the spring. So they were ahead of the pandemic, ahead of the post-pandemic years, and then we get to November again, more sales than they've had. And a lot of that is new construction. You've got lots of home builders down there. They're building affordable product, especially on the east side, lots of incentives. And so affordable home buyers are just flocking to Hayes County to get down there. Sales volume, which is dollar amount, again, higher. Median sales price, lower. But so if we look at three of the, since 2020, when prices went up, now it is the most affordable in Hayes County that it has been in 4 years. Again, another reason we're seeing buyers flock down there. Average sales price, again, kind of equal with last year. Listings were higher, so you had more to look at, and months of inventory slowly coming down. So crowns off to Kyle, who takes the award for fastest growing city in our metro for the past year. Pretty impressive. So if we look at some December stats, these just came in. So this is looking at the 5-county metro area, 2023 in the left column, 2024 in the right. We had more sales, about 4% more sales. Pendings were down just a hair. Listings are up, again, almost 10%. Active listings up 7%. If we look at the median and average sold prices, they were up. They were up in November, and they are now up in December. So we actually saw buyers paying a little bit more than they did the year before, 2023 over 2024. And price per square foot, that part was down just a little bit. Days on market were still a little higher, and inventory, again, a little bit higher. If we look at the median and average sold price more in a chart, this gives you kind of what normally looks like the bell curve. This was the end of 2023. Prices always typically go up in the spring. They peak out usually around May or June. And then they start to soften. Buyers kind of start going on vacation. The market just starts to slow down. And typically you see the price come down. But what we've seen since September is not only did we level off, the price actually curved up a little bit from September through December, which is kind of wild because it wasn't a hot market. There weren't necessarily a lot of buyers out. Everybody was waiting for the election and interest rates and the Fed to make decisions. But what happened in September is the Fed announced they were going to lower their rate. It didn't impact the mortgage rates that much. They're still high. But what happened was, I think there was some sentiment shift in buyers. They've waited long enough. There's going to be a new presidency. I'm tired of waiting. Let's get out there and start buying. So what's happened is slowly, I think we're seeing the market start to turn a corner. Pending units, again, there's the sales. They dropped off. So there weren't like there were a lot of buyers, but the buyers that were out there were willing to pay a fair price and pay at least as much as they did last year for the same product. Here's market volume. So again, this is dollar amount. If you added it up, average sold price, again, was up a little bit. Year over year, if you take all 12 months, we were down just a tiny fraction. And a lot of that was from the beginning of the year because it was slower. So anyways, we're seeing that. We're also seeing, this is from Bramlett Partners. They're another broker here in town. They also track job postings in the metro, and they're watching, hey, are we going to see more job listings coming to market? And we are starting to see that. That's typically optimism from companies. They want to hire more. That's a good sign right there. All right, well, let's talk about the thing that nobody likes, and that's higher mortgage rates. So again, since the Fed made their announcement in September, and since then they've lowered their Fed funds rate about a full percentage point. So what's happening is now, since that announcement, we've actually seen the bond market, which is longer term rates, we've seen that go up. And so we've seen rates go from low sixes up to now about 7.25%. If you're a primary home buyer, you got a good interest, good credit score, you're probably going to be in the high sixes. But still, this is high rates, probably higher than we've seen in about 8 or 9 months. We'll see what happens. Again, the new president has not taken the White House yet. We don't know what. A lot of this is speculation. We're guessing kind of what initiatives are going to be out there. What the bond market's looking at is no matter what happens, they believe the government is going to have a lot of programs that require a lot of money, and they're going to have to print more money to support all these initiatives, to support a high spending government. And so they want a higher yield for that. So keep an eye on that. This is one of the reasons in my predictions last week that I think rates are going to stay higher for longer. I don't like it. Nobody likes it. But again, I think it's going to keep them higher than most people would like for longer than they would like. All right, let's look at current data. So this is historic sales price trend through December. And again, this is going back to January 2021. And of course, you can see the median home price launching up until May 2022. And we peaked out around 550. And then since then, we've had high rates all the way to today. So we've had, we touched 7%, I think, in June 2022, and we bounced up and down. But generally, we've been between 6 and 7.5, for 2.5, almost 3 years now. And what happened was we had to have a big adjustment in the median home value in the market. You can see most of that correction took place in the first 12 months. So for people that have not been paying attention and haven't really seen what's happened to median home values, they still think they're up here. No, they have come way down. We fought it each spring. Each spring, you can see the price went up, but then there was still too much interest rates, too little buyer demand, too much inventory, and the prices kept coming down each fall. But if you could imagine an invisible line around 420, 425 each year, it's kind of bouncing off that level. The peaks have been lower, so the amount of up and down has started to compress. But the lows have kind of consistently bounced off of around 420, 425 median home value in the market. And again, here's the end of last year, September through December, we see a little swing up. So if this is the spring, just imagine you're going to see pricing, median home values for the next, call it 5-6 months, are probably going to go on an upswing. We'll have to see where we are on interest rates, buyer demand, and inventory once we get to June. That's really going to tell us what happens on the second half of the year. And then finally, here's where we are right now in terms of single family homes in the metro. Green is how much inventory we have in the market. And you can see it dropped off pretty sharply at the very end of the year. A lot of that's withdrawals, expireds, and sales. You just also don't have a lot of sellers that bring their property to market at the very end of the year. So we've seen it really come down. But sales, the blue lines, this is closed sales, have been pretty steady around 2,300 a month. So we're keeping steady sales, and now there's less to look at compared to the summer. And so buyers right now are probably going to see a little more competition on some of these homes until potentially more inventory comes to market. And we're really going to be watching buyer demand this year. I know rates aren't moving that great and aren't that attractive, but at some point, there's going to be pent up demand in the market. So we're waiting to see how much buyer demand, how much sales volume do we get as we get into 2025. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. If you're a buyer right now, rates is really the part you don't like. But the good news is this is still a lot of inventory compared to how much we would have in years past. So there's more on the market to look at. And there's plenty of 2024 listings that didn't sell that are still on the market looking for a buyer. So if you've got some vision, some creativity, if you're willing to do a little bit of work, sometimes those are the homes where you can get some really good value. If you're a seller right now, the good news is 2024 is over. We're getting into the spring months. This is typically a good time to list your home. We've got new buyers in the market that weren't around the past couple years, and we'll see on rates. Rates would help you as a seller encourage buyers to come out in greater numbers, but we'll have to watch rates. That's going to be the real wild card. Anyways, if you want to follow these videos each and every week, make sure to check out our YouTube channel at Ryan Kelly Group. Click that subscribe button. And until then, we're actually going to have a pretty nice week. It's going to be in the mid 60s for most of the week, bright and sunny, my kind of winter. Hope you enjoy your week and talk to you then.